Hey guys, I needed a flip stop and looked around and came across this on Amazon, and they also have these on Wish. They're sold by DCT. And I just thought that, seeing how I didn't really find any real reviews about any of this, that I would go over it, because so far I like it. This is, I guess, what you'd call like a stationary stop. Doesn't really move around or anything. In millimeters, it's 7.20-ish. And in inches, it's around, I guess you could call that a quarter inch. 15/64. That's right at a quarter inch. So that's pretty good in my opinion. Width-wise, right at 1.5 inches. So not too bad. Millimeters, right at 37.96, 38 millimeters. It adjusts up and down with a T-nut. Pretty decent looking T-nut. It's not got any sharp edges or anything on it. It's got a T-bolt, like a T-track style bolt that rides in a groove right here. And this, on this part, this is where I'm guessing they held it to anodize it, right here, and a little bit right there. Other than that, really smooth, decent at anodizing, but it'll adjust some. Let's see, I think that's about as high up as I would want to go with it. And tape measure. Let's see, total you would have about 3 5/8. And from here, which is where it would ride on the track, you would have about 3 3/8. And then you can also move it down. And then when you move it down from up here, about 3 3/8, and from here about 3 inches. So about 3 3/8 travel on that, it looks like. That's this part. Oh, comes with this snazzy guy, which is a quick handle, and a plastic-ish nylon washer / bushing with another T-nut, and it has this machined groove that I like a lot, because this is the track, and when you put it in the track, when you slide that in the track, that groove will lock in there. And then with this handle style, you can torque that bad boy down pretty decent. And no threads in the aluminum. I like that. Torque that down pretty decent. You've got that nylon plastic bushing in there that keeps you from marring this all to pieces. And probably will still do some rubbing and stuff on the anodizing. But that is very, very rigid. Very rigid. And I like that. We'll get to the track in a minute. not bad, pretty smooth. We'll just slap that back in there one time. For now, I will set this to the side. And I have opened some of these wrappers. This I thought was really clever. This part rides on a set of ball bearings on both sides. Solid chunk of aluminum. Same thing again. Quick handle, not one of the little round knobs. I would way rather have this handle myself. That's just me personally. Another T-track style bolt. And it's got that same machined groove that'll ride in a T-track. And it'll lock it down good. The reason why I thought the ball bearings was good for such a cheap unit was whenever you put this guy on and you crank her down, hold it here with a wrench, or I guess you'd go on this nut, but I would say you would really want to put a wrench on here. That way you don't have to worry about over tightening this in the bearing shafts. You can crank this baby boy down right here with the little washer they provide, and then you're not going to get any torsional movement or play on that. But this steel, if it just pivoted on it, in my opinion, would wear the interior of these slots, which it fits every one of these slots. And you don't have to worry about this wearing on here. And you don't have to worry about leaving it loose and getting play. So I like all of this unit right here, and it came with some washers for each side and a nylon nut. Steel nylon inserted nut. Should not work loose, especially considering my favorite part rides on ball bearings. Sealed, by the way, so sawdust should have a little bit harder of a time getting in there. Like that a lot. Comes with 2 tapes as far as these tapes go. Compared to a standard tape. I like the yellow background. I look at yellow and black all day long for a living. I work with tools for a living. As far as inch goes, we're going to line that up with an inch, line that up with an inch. Every line is dead on the money. Now what I'm going to do is pull this out, and I'm going to line up my starting mark and line up my other starting mark. Look down here within the rim of things. We appear to be pretty accurate. We can also take a micrometer or a set of calipers, sorry. I can zero those out, and I can put that mode on inches and zero it. And we can just see by stretching this tape a little bit straight what we're going to get. That's freehand, so. But it looks like that's an inch. Looks to be dead on the money to me. So the tape that's provided looks pretty good. However, little quick tip that I always do, I take some type of a caliper and I'll set my caliper up. Plenty of videos on that and stuff and online tutorials. Anytime I get a new anything in my shop that measures, I will take it compare it to a caliper, and I have a brown or a Starrett rule, check them. Just make sure everything in my shop lines up. My tape measures, I've got snap-on tapes, Stanley tapes. I just check all my tapes, make sure they all, ride together. But I try to keep this in my apron, and just use it all the time. I don't know about the adhesion on this stuff. I haven't tried it out. I don't know how it is, but it's thick. I can tell you that. Yeah, that feels to be good adhesion. Feels to be. You get 2 of these tracks, and appear to be good quality. Going back really quick, sorry, jumping ahead myself. This goes from 7/30 seconds, around a quarter, goes up and thickens as it gets up to strengthen it. Up here is where it would need to strengthen, in my opinion. Man, that thing gets all the way up to 29/64s, not real far off from a 1/2 inch thick. So that's pretty dang good. And you get 2 of these tracks. They are pretty good on heft and weight. They are cut dead on the money at 2 foot. They are 1.25 inches wide. And they are, the slots in them, back to the calipers, 5/16. This is a dual slotted, and it is 35/64s on the top, or on the bottom, the deepest, 29/64s on the highest. So call that the deepest at the highest. So you can use 2 different size bolt heads like that. And then 5/16. 5/16 like that. Okay, you have a recessed area right here for a tape. That's basically 1/64. Thick tape with the adhesion removed is even less. So you've got about, this is about a 1/2 of a 64th, I'm guessing. Yep. So that's good. Alright. Now, made everybody sit through all that, and just for my metric guys, I'll go back, switch out to metric. These are 10.72 millimeters on the thicker end, almost 12 Yep, 12.33, 3.32, and goes down to around 6-ish millimeters. Width-wise of this sucker, 32.17, 31.77, 32 on the top end, like that. On the track, millimeters. On the track, it is 33. Grooves, 8 millimeter on the flange. On the interior of that flange, about 11.58. On the other flange, you've got 14.25, and then on the littler one in here, 11.35, and basically 8 millimeters there. Now, this is made a little different than most of the name brand tracks. The reason I say that is this is a little different. Most of them don't have this double-sided deal here. But yeah, you can do a few different things with this. You could put it on your fence like this, and you could screw that right here. You could drill some holes, you could bolt or screw it. You could use a bolt coming from this side and countersink it, put your nuts on this side, vice versa, on your fence. You know, your fence ideally would be a little thicker, but you can do that, and it would work. Put it on this side, but this is meant to route out and saw out. Saw blades, typical thicknesses, and if you come in here, zero out the tool. That's perfect. 3:32 seconds on this right here, which is about the curve of a thin curved saw blade. So you could just use your saw blade, make one rip into the center of your fence or wherever this needs to sit. I like that. That's cool. You don't have to have a dado blade or set your fence multiple times to get that slot. Your thin curved blade should make a really nice tight fitting slot for this right here. And this sits on the main top of your fence, and then you could make a notch cut right here for this, and that would allow this to sit down in there. You'd have flush wood here and flush wood here. You're an ideal. Here's a piece of wood, and here's a little piece of wood. So that would be kind of how you would do your fence. And this being basically an 1.25 inches. Alright, it's dead on the nail at 1 inch and 19/64. If you guys want to know, like, dead nuts, what it is, which is 1 inch and 5/16. That's pretty good on a fence. That's pretty good. You know, if you want your flush fence right here, there's nothing wrong with an 1 inch and 5/16 thick fence. That's a pretty decent fence. You know, because this has rounded over edges. That's a pretty good fence. you know. And if you do an 1.5-inch thick fence, you know, like 2 pieces of 3/4 material, not bad. You know, not bad at all. That's maybe, but overall, I just want to make a quick little review of this. Really good stuff, I think, for the money. I'm not going to say a price because prices are constantly changing. I bought this with my own money. I work for a living. I work with tools for a living, and I'm not an engineer, but I know junk when I see it, and I ain't hooked this up on a fence or anything yet, but I don't think it's junk at all. I have the correct system, and there is so many things that I don't like. For one, threads and aluminum. I don't know if they still do it like that. I can tell you they did. It's a joke. Yeah, if you don't reach down on it, it'll last a little while, but it's just for what you're paying for. Come on, if you can get this for what I paid for it, then they could do the same. I didn't buy this illegally, you know. It's not like anybody cutting any corner selling this to me. You know, they sell these on the Amazon. From what I can tell, Amazon and Wish has this one come from Amazon, free shipping for quick shipping. Wish has these also, which appear to be identical. They are branded the same. They are branded DCT. So, from what I can tell, they're selling out quick too. I'm not trying to sell you one of these. I don't even have affiliated links, nothing. But from what I can tell, they're selling out quick too. Because I actually went to get one off of Amazon and almost ordered off of Wish. Waited a couple days when I did finally decide, because I went in person and looked at in a woodworking store. We looked at all kind of flip stops and track systems they had. Just wasn't really pleased with any of them. Ended up coming back home, getting online. Boom, Amazon had this thing in stock. I ordered it. I'm like, you know, worst case scenario, it's not that much money. It's not a ridiculous amount of money. You know, why not? Yeah. So, I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up about this system. I would say order one for sure, and I'm a tightwad, so order one for sure. If you need any kind of stop set up at all, you get two 2-foot sections of this. And here's the thing: if you're saying, well, dude, I want it for a miter saw, I would like to have at least 8 feet. Order 2 of them. Even at ordering 2 of these for what they're selling now, cheaper than one Craig setup. And if you order 2 of them, hey, you'll have 2 of these and 2 of these. So why not? Yeah, why not? You'll have 4 tapes. Oh, and then let's see this other tape. Let's see what they gave us. Let's see what they gave us. See if this is like a whole tape, or if this is what's to that tape. Let's see where it starts to. No, this is another whole tape. It goes out to 48 inches, and it's a clear 48 inches. See that little extra? Then a little extra right there. I like that. That means that that's a true 0 mark, and I don't have to worry about, well, what if they cut me a little short on my first inch? Not that really a lot of us are doing a sliver of wood that, but still, I like it. So you can have this tape, which reads. This one reads. Here's a cool fact. This one reads left to right. This one reads right to left. That's handy. That's smart. I like that because I went and bought a stick-on tape not long ago for a tool of mine. Got it. It read left to right. I needed it to read right to left. I had to order another one. Just the tapes alone are usually, $8-9. So right here's $20 in tapes most of the time. So, and me personally, the yellow and black, if you are a construction worker, if you are a tradesman, you're either looking at fluorescent green or you're looking at yellow and black all day. And believe it or not, that will matter to you. You're thinking in your head, nah, it don't matter to me. But a lot of the times, that will matter to your eyes, because if you're looking at a tape measure that's white and purple or whatever, that's foreign to you a lot of times. So your brain doesn't automatically just recognize it, and it's just more comfortable, at least for me. Colors I'm familiar with are more comfortable. Also, I think that these things don't look too shabby. And if you're wondering about one other thing, here's what you can do. We can bring this up, and I will test this out for you. Because you're saying, well, it all looks cool, but what's the tallest fence I can have and use that thing and it actually touch the bottom of my sled? Now, ideally, I would think you would want just a little gap underneath this, between this and the bottom of your sled, so that you can have dust go up underneath it or whatever, dirt. But if you want it to touch, I'll just tell you really quick. You can have one that is 2.5 inches tall, or 2 5/8, about 2 5/8 tall. Sorry, this is hard. About 2 5/8 tall, and still be good to go. This will still be riding right on the bottom. And if you want, say, a 1/2 inch of clearance,